right, has everybody got a notebook and a pen? Because we're going to take some notes tonight. So I'm so glad. I was just about to say, I wish Kendra was on here because I am going to use what you told me as an example for going into tonight's Zoom. So I'm so glad that you're on here so you can validate what you said to me. So Kevin and I are, we're getting our house painted. We're getting a new roof. We're getting our house painted, pressure washed. We're getting rotten wood replaced, and we're doing all kinds of work because we're going to sell the house. And so we've been calling, getting all these estimates and stuff, and nobody can do the work like within, everybody's out a month. And they told me that the reason for this is because they can't find anybody to work. And then Kendra was at my camper. Her and her husband had come by, and they own their own business. And that's what they were telling me. They were saying, you know, we've got work. We can't find anybody to work. We can't find anybody who's dependable. We can't find anybody who will show up. And then on top of that, I do this, I listen to Jennifer McKinney, y'all know that. And she starts talking about, the same thing. She had somebody come to the house, and they, you know, were just like all frazzled and everything because they can't find anybody to work. And it's summertime. I get it. It's summertime. Everybody's kids are home. Kids are busy, you know. But my question is, here's the thing that we're going to talk about tonight. I hear a lot about, oh, my points are down. Oh, I can't get anybody to work. Oh, my team's not working. But my question is, what are you doing to further your business? What are you doing for your team to encourage them? So a guy named Farhad, and I can't pronounce his last name, he owns a business called Helpful, and he wrote an article called Your Team Doesn't Work for You, You Work for Your Team. And he made 3 points that we're going to talk about in this article. And he was a man, he's owner of a company, and he was talking about his managers. And he said one of his managers was never at his desk. He was always like, you know, gallivanting around. He was always on coffee breaks with somebody. He was always at the water cooler with somebody. He was always at somebody else's desk, and it didn't seem like he was working at all. And he had made the statement, well, that guy's not going to last long in this company. You know, if you're sitting there and you're never at your desk, you're always at somebody else's desk, you're not going to last long if you're not working. Well, what happened was a couple of months down the road, this guy's that was never at his desk, his team had the best sales in the entire company. And Farhad was like, well, that's kind of crazy. I mean, that must be a stroke of luck. He must have, you know, just happened to get the right people on his team, you know, in order for that to happen. And so he ended up talking to the guy or talking to the guy's team. And they had such respect for this guy that they worked harder for him because he always helped them. When he was out gallivanting around and at somebody else's desk, he was always offering his help to them. That's why his team sales were the best in the entire company, because he wasn't all self-focused. He was always doing whatever he could for his team. And that's the 3 points that I want to make tonight, and why it is so important that you realize that your team doesn't work for you, but you have to work for your team in order to be successful. And the first thing is, your team needs missions and authority to reach their productivity peak. I'll say that again. Your team needs missions and authority. It's not the kind of authority that you're thinking, no bossing, but it needs authority to reach their productivity peak. And there's a quote by Toni Morrison, and he says, if you want to fly, you have to get rid of the shaduki that weighs you down. And if y'all are in my glorious marriage, y'all know I say shaduki. We say shaduki instead of the other word. So you have to get rid of the shaduki that weighs you down. Birds can't fly if they got crap on the wings, right? You can't control or do it for your team, but you have to give them a mission and let them do it. So, for example, and I'm going to read this from here. Have you ever had this, and this is my book, How to Build Network Marketing Leaders. If you have not read this book is amazing. But it says, I was just trying to help is the caption. And it says, have you ever had this experience? You have got someone that you know would be amazing at this business. You know that they would be amazing. If you could just show them and give them a taste of it, you know they would be amazing. You just want to help them succeed. So you worked so hard for them. You picked them up for meetings. You made phone calls and did follow-ups for them. And I am adding stuff to this that applies to our business. You bought products, you bought their starter kit for them. You even sponsored a few distributors and placed them underneath them. In other words, you did everything to help them get ahead in their business and give them a start, right? So after all that work, nothing happened. They never developed an organization. They never coached the distributors that you sponsored for them. On the nights of the meetings, something always came up. They forgot about ordering products last month. They were afraid to call their friends. They didn't feel right about approaching their relatives. They weren't good at talking to strangers. Let's see. They talked to the distributors that you signed up and actually were the cause of them quitting the business. So there's nothing that you can do to make a person successful. You can't control the situation. You can't make them want this. I have done it, y'all. And y'all are learning from my mistakes. I'm just telling you, every single thing on here, I have done. I have bought kits for people that I knew were going to be amazing. I have done follow-ups and put people underneath other people that I knew were going to be amazing. But you can't control. You've got to let go of the control. You cannot want it for somebody else. You cannot drag somebody along behind you. They have got to have some sort of responsibility in it, or else you're going to be doing not only your business, but somebody else's, and somebody else getting paid for what you're doing. That's what's going to happen. But you have to teach them and tell them what needs to be done in order for them to get to a certain point, and then let them do it themselves. Which brings us to point number 2. Your people will learn if you let them fail. That's a hard one to swallow right there. You do not want to see anybody fail. I did not want to see anybody fail. And I'm going to give you a personal example. And the examples that Jennifer was talking about was, it was a quote by Richard Branson, and it says, you learn to walk by doing it and falling. And when you're a little kid and you learn to walk and you fall, what do little kids do? They don't stay laying down. They get back up and try to walk again, and then they take another step and fall flat on their face. And you have to let them learn from their mistakes. You really can't screw this business up. And I'm going to tell you what I did. There was a precious lady. She is one of my dear friends, and she's still one of my dear friends. But she had such a presence on social media, and she had such a trust that people had in her. She's in ministry, and I love her dearly, and she would not mind me sharing this. But I helped her. She was one of the first people that signed on with me, and I knew I wanted her for the business. I knew she would be amazing for the business, and she did really well. She got all the way up to, she was about less than 1,000 points from director. So she hit platinum manager several months in a row, did really, really well. And when I realized that I was getting overwhelmed and I had to let her start coaching her own people, then what happened was she didn't know how to do it. I had done it all for her. And when I stepped away, her business went from here and went straight down. And trying to, when you've been up here and you go all the way down to the bottom, and it's hard to get someone remotivated to get back up that mountain. I've had to, I don't know how I did it. I mean, I went all the way down to the bottom and had to start all over. I did it twice, but it's just, it takes a lot of time, and it wasn't time that she was willing to put into it. She felt like she did it first, and it was just overwhelming her, and she was putting it ahead of her ministry, and she stepped down. And the only person I have to blame for that is me, because instead of teaching her how to do it and do it herself, I did everything for her. And then when it was to a point where I had to let her go, she couldn't fly because I'd never taught her how. And so you want to teach them how to do it. Don't do everything for them. You can't drag them. And you have to they have to learn from their own mistakes. They have to learn from getting the no's. They have to, and like I was saying, it takes a lot to fail at this business. I mean, you can't screw it up, honestly. If you send somebody the wrong script, okay, you don't get that one person to sign up if you screw it up. But you learn. As long as you're learning from the mistakes you make and doing it different next time, returns. I know this has been a big one lately, and a lot of people have been really frustrated with people returning their boxes. But the thing is what could you have done different, and what could you do next time to keep the next person from returning their kit? Did you coach them? Did you talk to them? And that's the thing that I hear a lot is she returned her kit. Why? Well, I don't know. Why don't you know? Why don't you know? You should be talking to them. You should be encouraging them. If they're not answering their messenger, you've got their phone number. Send them a text or pick up the phone and call them and say, hey, I was just checking on you. Hadn't heard from you in a while. What's going on? Especially if they're within their return, in their 30 days. If they're not answering you on chat, most of the time something's happened. They've fallen off the program. They need to know that you're there for them. So send them a text, like with their phone number, or pick up the phone and call. Make a phone call and get them on the phone and say, hey, let's see what we can do to help you. Let me get somebody else on the phone with us, and get your coach on the phone with them. So here's the one. Y'all are really not gonna like me after tonight. I'm serious, but you know what? It's gotta be said. I'm just saying. Okay, y'all ready for this? If your points are not where you want them to be this month, and they're low, what is it that you haven't done that contributes to your points being what they are? What? How many Facebook Lives have you done this month? How many follow-ups have you done this month? How many meetings have you done this month? Just because you think August is a slow month, is it slow because you're not busting your butt like you did last month? Is that why your points are different this month than last month? What are you doing different this month to cause your points to go down? Not your team's fault. That one stepped on my toes a little bit because I had that women's conference the first of the month. I took off like 7 whole days, and it was my own fault. I didn't work. I put my phone down. I had to. I didn't have a choice. But because of that, y'all gonna freak out. My points are 50,000 points lower right now than they were this time last month. 50,000 points lower this month right now than they were this time last month. That's no bueno, people. But I can't really blame anybody but myself. I mean, the first time y'all got numbers was what, 4 days ago for the whole month? I didn't do the work that I usually do, which in turn, it happens every time. And same thing with you. You didn't do the work that you usually do. So what happened to your team? You know what I mean? Number 3. Did y'all get number 2? Everybody get number 2? Yes. Ouch. I know. Whew. It stuck on mine. Number 3. Now we're going to get back in the positive thing. You are in the best position to unblock people. And I know I'm talking to myself too. If you have somebody that's on your team that says, I'm just stuck. I'm stuck with my weight. Doesn't necessarily have to be a product. I'm stuck with my weight. I'm stuck. No matter what I do, my business is not growing. I'm just stuck. The thing is that person probably knows what they're not doing, but they don't do what needs to be done because of fear. They either have fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of something. That's usually, and I say this all the time, your own self is what holds you back so much. You know, a lot of people don't do Facebook Live because of fear of rejection. They're worried about what somebody's going to think about them. They don't do, they don't post on their personal page because fear of failure. I don't know. There's a fear there that holds you back, that keeps you from doing and reaching your full potential. And so even though the person that's on your team probably knows what they're not doing, you still need to be available to encourage them and motivate them and support them and tell them, you know what, I believe in you. You know what, you can do this. You know what, go do that Facebook Live right now. Don't think about it. Do 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go do that Facebook Live right now. You know what, go call that person and say, let's set up a meeting. Simon Sinek, here's another quote, Jennifer McKinney. I love her, y'all. She is amazing. Says, leadership is not about being in charge. It's about taking care of those in your charge. I love that so much because that's one of the things, like when I decided to grow this business and you guys are all on my team, and I hope that you don't ever think that I think it's about me, because I never do. And the way that I lead is, and I do this all the time, I lead by example. I want y'all to see me in the trenches with you working. And that's the same way you should be with your team. You should never expect them to do anything that you're not doing, and showing them how to do, by example, instead of just telling them what to do, showing them the way by what you're doing. So it's the same thing. If you want somebody to sponsor 5 people a month, then I expect myself to do 8. If I don't do more than what I'm asking you to do, why in the world would I think that anybody else would do that? You have to lead by example. You have to get in the trenches. You have to, the things that you're teaching, consistency and daily follow-ups, daily posting, daily friend requests, daily adding to the adventure page. You can't expect anybody else to do it unless you're doing it yourself and showing them. So that's what I got tonight. I'm sorry. I heard that today. Jennifer McKinney was saying that. I was like, it's so true. Everything she said was so true. And, it's just, I know that I've done it all. I've done every bit of that. I have been controlling, and letting go of that control was something that was very, very, very hard for me. But if I had continued to do that, it would have been detrimental. I couldn't have done it. There's no way. There's no way that I can do my business and anybody else's. I can't. One person can't do it. And same thing with you. You can't do 2 businesses. Why would you? Why would you do 2 businesses and only get paid for 1? Because you can't drag anybody along, and you can't want it for, I wanted it, I'm telling you, I have wanted it for so many people because I see potential in so many people. But you can't want it for somebody if they don't want it for themselves. They have got to want to better themselves in order to do it. And they have just got to say, you know what? There is nothing going to stand in my way. I don't care if it's a slow month. I'm not going to stop working. I'm going to keep doing what I have to do every single day because I know that harvest is coming. I've got to keep planting those seeds every single day because I know the harvest is coming. I've got to keep pouring into my team every single day because I know the harvest is coming. And I've got to keep encouraging them to plant those seeds because the harvest is coming. Maybe it didn't come this month, you know, but we've still got 5 days. I'm not going to roll over because I've only sponsored one person this month. I got to find me 4 more people this month, and I'm going to do it. I'm not going to go to sleep on the 31st until I have 5 people signed up. And that's what I'm doing. I'm busting my butt, going through, following up with people. Tried to hire somebody, and they saw my messenger and ran. So I've got to do that this week. I've got to find somebody to help me organize and sort through things. But you know what? Until I find somebody, I'm going to do it myself. I am going to go through and I'm going to follow up with my every single chat that I can to find my 5 people. If I want 5, I need to talk to 500. I know that. I know it's a numbers game. And you guys know it's a numbers game. So if you want your 5, go bust it out and go get it. There's nothing stopping you except for you. The only person who doesn't think you can do it is, like I said on that video, is usually the person looking back at you in the mirror, because I believe it. I believe every single person can do it. We saw it last month with Tara. Tara, her very first month in June, her very first month in 3 days, hit manager. 3 days. So there's no reason. And she hadn't even done the program yet, y'all. So if somebody that hasn't even done the program yet can bust it out and get 5, there's no reason why you can't, because you've got the belief. So do something, step outside your box. Do something that you haven't done. Do a Facebook Live and let them see your heart. Let them see your excitement about these products. Make a phone call. Set up a meeting. You've got 5 days. See what you can do in 5 days. Anything is possible. I don't care if you want to hit the next rank, you can do that. It is possible. There's nothing that's impossible. But I love y'all very, very, very much. And I seriously, I think I would put this team up. I tell y'all all the time, I would put this team up against anybody in the company, anybody, because it's not, I want y'all to do calls with each other, vision calls. I'm telling you, that is the way to go. Every leader that I've talked to, you wouldn't believe how many people, how many other leaders in the company have called me to do vision calls with people. And I keep thinking, why in the world are we not doing those continuously every single day? Every person that you sign up, that I would get them on a call with somebody and just say, hey, I got to talk to you about your kit. Oh, by the way, my coach just called in. I want to introduce you. And get them on the phone with your coach and say, hey, this is my coach, and let your coach build that vision. And you know what? If it doesn't work with the first one, get them on the phone with other people. Get them on the phone with other people. Jennifer McKinney they called her 30 days in a row. She talked to, I don't know how many different people, 6 different people before that vision was instilled. Same thing with Nikki. Nikki talked to Kala. Nikki talked to Freddie. Nikki talked to all these people before that vision was instilled in her. And she said, hey, I'm going to do this. So that's what I would encourage you to do. I'm telling you, I'm available. I know that, I know Bria's available. I know Stacy's available. I know Vicky's available. Kendra, I'm sure Kendra would be available. And Katie, I know Katie would be available when she's not. Candace, when she's not working. Oh, y'all. I know the only person I don't think would be available is Rhonda. Because Rhonda is going to be the mama of the bride in 20 days. So we are not going to stress Rhonda out no more than she's already stressed out. But after 20 days from now, Rhonda will be available too, for sure. But use each other. I'm telling you. Get a partner, use each other, and instill the vision in the people that you know could do this, but don't do it for them. And that's what I'll leave you with. Has anybody got any questions? Anything they want to add, please? Tell me you don't hate me. Vicki, I see your hand.
Yes. One thing I would like to add to what you just said is the best way to utilize all of your partner people, whether they're our team or somebody else's team, is to make sure that they understand the program before you pull somebody else in. Like, make sure they know what a blue box is. Make sure they know, because what you're doing, like if I called you to bring you it is to validate the system from something you have gone through with the weight loss, with the health issues you've had.
No, we're talking about vision calls.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I missed it. Never mind. Gotcha.
But that's good too. Yeah. Use your coaches for that for sure.
Right.
The vision calls is just
Right.
And the way you do a vision call is you get you set it up with another person, get them on the phone with them, and all they're going to do is tell a story. They're just going to tell their own business story, and that's it. It's about 3 minutes. That's it. And then the next day, get them on the phone and say, "Hey, you got 5 minutes." Put them on the phone with somebody else, and then just let them just continue to hear those, those stories. So, anybody else got anything? Charles, I'm just going to say something. Did everybody see the office space that he got for us? I don't even know. Like, I don't know how it came about. I don't know what he did. He's been hiding it from me. He surprised me with it last night. He Facebook Lived me and walked me through it. Y'all, it is the most amazing thing I've ever seen. He's like, well, you walk in here, here's where we're going to have our registration, and then they're going to walk down this hall and get their samples. Then they're going to walk into this room, and this is where the meeting's going to be. And before the meeting, you and the leaders, and you and all of us leaders can meet in this conference room. I mean, it's just like it's built for a transformation party. It's amazing. We're going to have our first training there. We're going to have our fall training there on September 23rd. Make sure you write that down. It is right on Chastain Road, right smack in between 575 and 75. Convenient for everybody. Convenient for everybody, except maybe Bria. So, but everybody else is.
No, I'm flying Bria in. No.
Oh, Vicki is.
Well, Daddy Warbucks, you probably could.
Mm-hmm. I can fly her in.
Vicki,
Yeah.
you're here more than you're home. It's convenient for you. You live out of a suitcase. Everything's convenient for you.
I'm sorry, but I got to put my 2 cents in. The reason was our last meeting at that restaurant where we were at. It was crowded. It was noisy. Bria made a comment. We couldn't shut the doors. And it just popped in my head. And then I had an opportunity to do this job that somebody asked me to do for them and design it and the whole bit. And all I thought, and I'm only being honest, okay, all I was thinking about was Bria. All in my head was Bria. It was like, I can't hear myself talk. I can't hear myself. And then you and Vicki, in regards to IT stuff with you and your crazy computer, okay? And Vicki is like, my partner in crime, how do you use the camera system? Okay, so I just built it. So yeah, that was it.
It's amazing though. Like in the big meeting room, it's got this huge like projector screen, and next to it it looks like a dry erase board, but it's actually a touch screen computer. So whatever you touch on that goes onto the big projector screen. It's freaking amazing. I cannot wait to be able to use that. And I'm thinking if I draw on that board, it would transfer over to
It will.
Ah! I'm
Yeah, well.
so excited. Y'all don't even know. So September 23rd at 2 o'clock, put it on your calendars.
Yep.
Because it is going to be our fall training. It's going to
How
be
long will it last?
probably same as last time. Probably.
I didn't get to come last time. Oh, yeah, I did.
Yeah, you were there.
3 hours. Okay, I just have to go home right after that. But that's okay.
And what I think we should do, since we have our own kitchen, is everybody just bring a snack or something. Bring some finger foods or something, and we'll just everybody, just bring something and we'll share it, and that'll be so awesome.
Okay, I'll bring my bacon wrapped pickles because I'm going to be on my plan.
Yeah, bring.
We can have Kendra's husband cater it.
Oh my gosh, we should. He's so talented.
Yeah.
Not you, Kendra.
Kendra, the other Kendra. Kendra Ledbetter's like, what?
My
I-
sister Kendra.
I cannot even wait for y'all to see it, and like I did. It was amazing, y'all. And the floors. I want the floors in my house. Those are the floors I want in my new house. They're amazing. So, anybody else have anything? Stace, you're unmuted. Or you want to say something?
I was just going to say it's so exciting. I love the pictures, Charles. That's awesome.
I know. It takes care of us, y'all. I'm just saying. That is awesome. So, so this is what I would encourage you in the last 5 days. Go bust it out. So as long as you can go to sleep on the 31st saying I did everything I could, then you know what? You're going to wake up on the 1st and you're going to feel good. But if you go to sleep, you need to at least get 5. I'm just saying, everybody needs to have 5 or do everything they can to get your 5. If you hadn't scheduled a meeting, you got 5 days to put a meeting on the board. And it only takes 2 to advertise it. We know that. We got one. And you know what? There's one Tuesday night in Cartersville. If anybody is, if you don't want to do your own, bring everybody to Cartersville. That's not that far either. If I need to do one at my house, I can do one on the 30th. If anybody needs to do it there, I can do one on the 30th. On Thursday night at my house. So y'all just let me know. I'll be available for phone calls. Get your teams excited. They're looking at you to get them excited. All right. Anybody else got anything? Last chance? No? All hearts cleared? All right. I love you guys. Let's go get them. We're the month end team. I'm telling you, this team, if anybody can do it, you guys can. Love y'all.